I have covered the reason that I run this box in previous videos. I'll put the link down below to the whys and whats. But this video is about what I keep in the box and mostly what I kind of recommend for a trail truck as far as tools, recovery gear, and so on. So let's get into it. All right, so this is for the most part where I keep all my recovery gear. On a longer trip, maybe a multi-day trip, there would be more boxes than this, but for what I typically do, which is mostly same day leaving and same day returning to camp or truck or trailer, this is sufficient for what I typically like to carry with me out on the trail. There is room behind the seats in this particular truck to add a little bit more as far as an ice chest or, personal bags and so on, but this is for the most part what I need for recovering and fixing stuff on the trail. All right, let's get into this thing. I touched on it before, but just real quick, I like to be able to unlatch the box without having to take straps off, without having to use tools. I want to be able to access everything that's inside with just my hands. And opening these latches to get to it is my preferred method. All right, so starting right off, I like to keep as many blankets as possible because when you're out on the trail and you're fixing stuff, you never know what's going to happen. I've used blankets for anything from just laying on under a truck to setting transmissions on, so you never know what's going to happen. They're also great for filling in the extra space depending on how much stuff you have in your cargo box to keep things from rattling. You don't want anything rattling in here. Anything bouncing around, hitting whoops and so on will just lead to damage, scuffing stuff, depending on if it's fragile or not. With maybe any electrical stuff you have in there, you're going to break stuff. I had plenty of room in here, so we had these two blankets, and we even had two folding chairs, which we use these out in Glamis. So it was nice when you pull over and hang out at Swing Set for a couple hours, you bust out a couple of chairs. So I'm going to set this stuff aside. All right, I guess we'll do kind of one box at a time. I didn't set this up ahead of time, so we could have some surprises here. But let's get into what I got. So this is the hose that I use for my CO2. I like it because it condenses to a much smaller size, and then it also extends itself out to, I don't know, this thing's 15 or 20 feet. I did make sure that my hose ends were the same for my CO2 tank plug-in, and also this rig has an ARB air compressor on it, so this can be used on the compressor or the CO2 tank, either way. Air gauge. I like that lock-on style for when you're airing something up that's taken forever. You don't got to sit there and hold it with your fingers for days. These are priceless. This is a battery jump box. It's nothing special. It's what you get off of Amazon, but they're great for when somebody's got a dead battery. It's actually happened to me once before in this truck because we accidentally left the light on. I do have an oversized crescent for things that you didn't plan for in the tool roll, which I'll get to later. You always want extra rags. You always want extra gloves. This is a tool for the scissor jack. I'll show you that in a minute. A pry bar that is telescoping with a claw on it that is adjustable, which is super rad. A big lady finger for getting bolts in. Also used as a pry bar. This is a must-have. This is a telescoping lug nut wrench. These are on Amazon. Search telescoping lug nut wrench. Make sure that you always have the socket that fits your lug nuts or your keyed lug nuts, whatever you have. Make sure you always have that sorted out. I can't tell you how many people I go to help. It's happened to me. It happened to me on Pioneer Trail a year ago. I had all this great stuff and didn't have the right, well, I switched trucks a lot, so that was my fault, but I didn't have the right lug nut. I'm sorry, socket. So random fuses, you never know. Tire repair kit. These come in all different flavors. You can buy this stuff pretty cheap and easy, but this is a plug patch kit. where it's got plugs and patches and all the tools needed to do some sort of roadside repair. All right, that's it for this bag. Let's get into the next bag. All right, second bag. This is a backup hose, just in case I wanted to extend things out further. Also just being weird because I like to have two of everything. I can't tell you how often I use this out on the trail. It's usually for somebody else, but somebody's got a code or something. It's nice to have a code reader. Flashlight. Temperature. Man, this is one of those things where if you're chasing some heating issues, it's just great to be able to aim this on the radiator. Transmission. Torque converter. You never know. I recommend one of these. Electrical connectors, assorted. Any sort of field repair that needs to be done. It's just nice to have electrical connectors. Hose clamps. More fuses. Looks like some pipe tape. Some other clamps. Just some random junk. You never know. This is black Gorilla duct tape. Zip ties, some extra wire, another flashlight, can never have enough. Always got to hand your buddy one. Jumper cables, of course, another set of gloves, spare lug nuts, some safety glasses, some rubber gloves in case you're doing something messy with grease. Yeah, that's probably it in that bag. Let's go into the next bag. This little bag just seems to go from truck to truck with me. It's redundant to what we already talked about. It is another telescoping wrench for lug nuts, but it's also got some universal different size sockets in it. A key for spline drive, and I know there's a bunch of different sizes of these, but this is one of the more common ones, and it's one of the ones I've had recently. An extension in case you can't get in there very well, and a very common socket. So again, like I said, this is redundant to what I already got going on. This is my tow strap and tow recovery junk. I like to use these big kinetic ropes. These are worth their weight in gold. Have a couple extra ratchet straps in here because you never know. Typically my style is if somebody's got a hitch, this can go inside the square hitch, and then this pin can come in from the other side, from the outside, and then you're locked in on the pin. You're attached to the tow hitch. It's one of the strongest spots on a vehicle to yank somebody out from. Well, I guess it depends on the vehicle. And then you attach to your big main rope. But yeah, this has gone from rig to rig to rig with me. These are also on Amazon, but a lot of the big name people sell these as well. PRP has one that is branded through Speedstrap, similar. Alright, so this is controversial. I have switched over from floor jacks to scissor jacks. I used to run scissor jacks way back in the day, back before floor jacks were even popular for people to use for off-road, before they were made out of aluminum. But just because this thing weighs nothing, and it doesn't take up any space, and it lifts plenty of plenty of weight. Obviously get one that's rated for whatever it is that you're needing to be lifting, but I make sure that I got one that's got a little rubber pad on it. It does come with this wrench in case you're sitting there doing it manually and you got to crank it up. You can also throw a socket on here with a ratchet. You can also throw a socket on here with an air gun or electric impact gun, which is the fastest way to lift stuff up. So let you decide. This one's 3 ton. So at any given time on one corner of this, any of my trucks, that one tire needs to be lifted, it's never going to be more than 3 tons. So let you do your own homework, do your own research. I did buy this on Amazon, but that's just my decision. All right, tools. I do have a video about this from years ago about tools, and this could probably be its own video. So I'm going to actually keep this really, really simple. I try to get a lot of this stuff at Harbor Freight, and these rolls, you can just pick and choose your own style tool roll. I liked these because I could see inside of them and kind of remember, oh, okay, that's the one that's got wrenches. Oh, that's the one that's got screwdrivers, pliers, sockets, and so on. So yeah, I like to make sure that I have all the regular size sockets, standard and metric, that you would work on a vehicle. But then I also, you know, if there's a certain spindle or hub or something, or big heim joints or something like that that requires something bigger and different, then I make sure I have those with me as well. Always got to have some flush cuts. Both sizes of Allens, all the different. This toolkit actually has been around with me for a little while. These tools are a little bit older. I have 4 of these total. There's one in this rig, there's one in that rig, and actually my son's got the other one. And those have all Harbor Freight stuff, which at one point in time I saved the shopping cart. So, and then I might even be able to save it, share it. But this kind of uses a lot of common sense. You know, just get what you know you use out on the trail, and then some. I'm just kind of fumbling through it so you can kind of get an idea. A bunch of little lady fingers in there as well, of what I have in here. And never fails. Seems like there's always something that you need that you don't have. All right, so now that I've made a mess of everything, it was actually good timing. Jet is sold and getting picked up this weekend, so I'm kind of moving out of Jet and going to rearrange things and figure out what is going to be going with me in the OBS for KOH. And I just kind of wanted to share this real quick with some people that have been kind of asking, and I just figured it was time to do a little update on all this recovery gear. But as always, guys, I appreciate you watching our videos, and subscribe to my channel if you could, like this video, and we will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.